Shri Charanam Gajanana Shri Charanam Gajanana Shri Saranam. Welcome to Mother Media Bhakti YouTube channel. My name is Preeta Srinivasan. Om Shri Sai Ram. Today we all are going to recite the 5th chapter of the Sai Satcharitam. Sai, my humble and lovable pranams to your adorable lotus feet. I'm going to start it with a very nice prayer today. It's a very powerful prayer. Sashti Varsha Sahasrani Kasivasina Yatpalam Tatpalam Nimishordena Sai Premna Labodruvam. In the 5th chapter, we are going to see some interesting incidents happened at Shirdi. Hemadvan described how Sai Baba returned to Shirdi after his disappearance. There lived a Mohammedan gentleman named Chand Patil in Aurangabad district, which is in Assam state, in a village called Dhoop. While he was making a trip to Aurangabad, he lost his mare. Mare means a female horse. For 2 long months, he made a diligent search but could get no trace of the lost mare. After being disappointed, he returned from Aurangabad with a saddle on his back. After travelling for few hours, he came on the way to a mango tree at the foot of which sat a Fakir. He had a cap on his head, wore kafani, which is a long robe, and had a satka, which is a short stick, under his arm. And he was preparing to smoke a chilim. Chilim means a pipe to smoke. On seeing Chand Patils pass by, he called out to him and asked him to have a smoke and to rest a little. The Fakir asked him about his saddle. Chand Patil replied that it was of his mare, which was lost some time back. The Fakir asked him to make a search in the Nala close by. He went, and the wonders of the wonders, he found the mare there. He thought that this Fakir was not an ordinary man, but an Avelia. Avelia means a great saint. He returned to the Fakir with the mare. The chilim was ready for being smoked, but 2 things were wanting. One is the fire to light the pipe and water to wet the chapi. Chapi, that is piece of cloth through which smoke is drawn up. The Fakir took his prong and thrust. Thrust means pushing violently, which is forcibly into a ground, and out came a live ember. Ember means it is a small piece of a burning wood in a dying fire, which he put on the pipe. Then he dashed the satka on the ground, from where water began to ooze. The chapi was wetted with that water, then wrung out and wrapped round the pipe. Thus, everything being complete, the Fakir smoked the chilim and then gave it also to Chand Patil. On seeing all this, Chand Patil was wonderstruck. He requested the Fakir to come to his home and accept his hospitality. Next day, he went to Patil's house and stayed there for some time. Patil was a village officer of Dhoop. His wife, brother's son, was to be married, and the bride was from Shirdi. So Patil made preparations to start for Shirdi for the marriage. The Fakir also accompanied the marriage party. The marriage went off without any hitch. The party returned to Dhoop except the Fakir, who stayed back in Shirdi and remained there forever. How the Fakir got the name Sai? When the marriage party came to Shirdi, it alighted at the foot of a banyan tree in Mahalshapati's field near Khandoba's temple. The carts means the bullock cart, like that, were loosened in the open courtyard of the Khandoba's temple, and the members of the party descended one by one, and the Fakir also got down. Mahalshapati saw the young Fakir getting down and accosted him, "Ya Sai," "Welcome Sai." Others also addressed him as Sai, and thenceforth he became Sai Baba. Contact with other saints. Sai Baba began to stay in the deserted masjid. One saint named Devidas had been living in Shirdi for many years before Baba came there. Baba liked his company. He stayed with him in the Maruti temple in the Chavadi and for some time lived alone. Then came another saint by name Jankidas. Baba spent most of his time in talking with him, or Jankidas went to Baba's residence. So also one Vaishya householder saint from Puntambe by name Jankagir always frequented Shirdi. When he first saw Sai Baba carrying the pitchers means a large jug of water, in both hands for watering the garden, he was amazed and said openly, "Blessed is Shirdi that it got this precious jewel. This man is carrying water today, but he is not an ordinary fellow. As this land, Shirdi, was fortunate and meritorious, it secured this jewel." So also, one famous saint by name Anand Nath of Yavala Math, a disciple of Akalkot Maharaj. He came to Shirdi with some people. When he saw Sai Baba, he said openly, "This is a precious diamond in reality. Though he looks like an ordinary man, he is not a gar. Gar means ordinary stone. He is not a gar, but a diamond. You will realize this in the near future." Saying this, he returned to Yavala. This was said while Sai Baba was a youngster. Baba's dress and daily routine. In his young days, Sai Baba grew the hair on his head, never had his head shaved. He dressed like an athlete. When he went to Rahata, which is 3 miles from Shirdi, he brought with him small plants of marigold, which is Jai and Jui, and after cleaning them, he planted and watered them. A devotee by name Vaman Tatya supplied him daily with 2 unbaked earthen pitchers, which these Baba himself used to water the plants. He drew water from the well and carried the pitchers on his shoulders. In the evening, the pitchers were kept at the foot of the neem tree. As soon as they were placed there, they broke as they were made of mud and not baked. Next day, Tatya supplied 2 fresh pitchers. This course went on for 3 years, and with Sai Baba's toil and effort, there grew a garden. On this site, at present, stand the big mansion, Samadhi Mandir of Sai Baba, which is now frequented by so many devotees. The story of Padukas under the neem tree. A devotee of Akalkot Maharaj by name Bhai Krishnaji Alibakkar worshipped the photo of Akalkot Maharaj. He once thought of going to Akalkot, take the darshan of the Padukas of the Maharaj and offer his sincere prayer there. But before he could go there, he got a vision in his dream. Akalkot Maharaj appeared in the vision and said to him, "Now Shirdi is my resting place. Go there and offer your worship." So Bhai changed his plan and came to Shirdi, worshipped Baba, stayed there for 6 months and was very happy. As a reminiscence of this vision, etc., he prepared the Padukas and installed them on an auspicious day of Shravan, Shaka 1834 and 1912 AD, under the neem tree with due ceremonies and formalities, conducted by Dada Kelkar and Upasani. One Dikshit Brahmin was appointed for worship and the management was entrusted to devotee Sagun. Complete version of the story. Mr. B.V. Dev, retired Mamlatdar of Thana and a great devotee of Sai Baba, made enquiries about this matter with Sagun Meru Nayak and Govind Kamalkar Dikshit and has published a full version of the Padukas in Sai Leela. While discussing things, there must be some memorial of Sai Baba's first advent at Shirdi and his sitting under the holy neem tree. They were discussing only about that. They thought of installing Baba's Padukas there and were going to make them of some rough stone. Then Bai's friend, the compounder, suggested that if the matter was made known to this master, Dr. Ramrao Kothare, he would prepare nice Padukas for this purpose. All liked this proposal and Dr. Kothare was informed of it. He came to Shirdi and drew a plan of the Padukas. He went to Upasani Maharaj in Kandoba's temple and showed him the plan. The latter made many improvements, drew lotus, flowers, etc. and suggested that the following sloka regarding neem tree's greatness and Baba's yogic powers be inscribed. The verse was as follows. This is a beautiful sloka about the greatness of the neem tree. Let's all recite this. Sada Nimbaga Vrikshasya Muladi Vasad Sudashravinam Tiktamapya Priyantam Tarum Kalpaga Vrikshadikam Sadayantam Namamishwaram Sadgurum Sainadam. Upasani's suggestions were accepted and carried out. The Padukas were made in Mumbai and sent to Shirdi with the compounder. Baba said that they should be installed on the Purnima day, that is the 15th day of Shravan. On that day at 11 a.m., G.K. Dikshit brought them on his head from Kandoba's temple to the Dwaraka Mayi Masjid. In the procession, Baba touched the Padukas, saying that these are the feet of the Lord, and asked the people to install them at the foot of the neem tree. A day earlier, one Parsi devotee of Mumbai named Pasta Shet sent rupees 25 by money order. Baba gave this sum for the installation of the Padukas. The total expense of installation came up to 100 rupees, out of which rupees 75 were collected by subscriptions. For the first 5 years, G.K. Dikshit worshipped the Padukas daily, and then this was done by Lakshman Kacheshwar Jakadi in the first 5 years. Bhai Krishnaji was originally a devotee of Akalkot Maharaj. He had come to Shirdi at the time of installation of the Padukas in Shaka 1834 on his way to Akalkot. He wanted to go to Akalkot after taking the darshan of Baba. He asked Baba's permission for this. Baba said, "Ho, what is there in Akalkot? Why do you go there? The Maharaja of that place is here myself." Hearing this, Bhai did not go to Akalkot. He came to Shirdi off and on after the installation of the Padukas. Mr. B.V. Dev concluded that Hemant Bin did not know these details. Had he known them, he would not have failed to depict them in the Satcharita. Wrestling both with Mohidin Tamboli and change in the lifestyle. To return to other stories of Baba, there was a wrestler in Shirdi by name Mohidin Tamboli. Baba and he did not agree with some points, and both had a fight. In this, Baba was defeated. Thenceforth, Baba changed his dress and mode of living. He donned kafani, wore a langot is waistband, and covered his head with a piece of cloth. He took a piece of sackcloth for his bed, and was content with wearing torn and worn-out rags. He always said that poverty is better than kingship, far better than lordship. The Lord is always brother of the poor. Jankagir was also very fond of wrestling. Once while he was wrestling, a similar feeling of dispassion descended over him. And at the proper time, he heard the voice of an adept saying that he should wear out his body, playing with God. So he too gave up sansara and turned towards God realization. He established math on the banks of the river near Puntambe and lived there with his disciple. Sai Baba did not mix and speak with people. He only gave answers when he was questioned. By day, he always sat under the neem tree, sometimes in the shade of the babul tree near the stream on the outskirts of the village. In the afternoon, he used to walk at random and go at times to Nimgon. There, he frequented the house of Bala Sahib Dengle. Baba loved Mr. Bala Sahib. His younger brother named Nana Sahib had no son, though he married a second wife also. Bala Sahib sent Nana Sahib for taking darshan of Sai Baba, and after some time, with his grace, Nana Sahib got a son. From that time onwards, people began to come in large numbers to see Sai Baba, and his fame began to spread and reached Ahmednagar. Turning water into oil. Sai Baba was very fond of lights. He used to borrow oil from the shopkeepers and keep lamps burning the whole night in the masjid and temple. This went on for some time. The Banyas, who supplied the oil gratis is free oil, once met together and decided not to give him oil. When as usual Baba went to ask for oil, they all give him a distinct no. Baba returned to the masjid and kept the dry wicks in the lamps. The Banyas were watching him with curiosity. Baba took the tambril, which is a tin pot, which contained very little oil, put water into it and drank it, and then forced it out to fall into the container. After this, the tin pot. In this way, he again took the water from the tin pot and filled the lamps with it and lightened them. To the surprise and dismay of the watching Banyas, the lamps began to burn and kept burning the whole night. The Banyas repented and apologized, and Baba forgave them and asked them to be more truthful in future. Thus, he gave him a lovable lesson to them, not to do this again. The pseudo-guru Jawhar Ali. 5 years after the above-mentioned wrestling bout, one Fakir from Ahmednagar by name Jawhar Ali came to Rahata with his disciples and stayed in Bakal. Bakal means a spacious room near Veerabhadra temple. The Fakir was learned, could repeat the whole Quran and had a sweet tongue. Many religious and devout people of the village came to him and began to respect him. With the help of the people, he started to build an Idgah. Idgah means a walled enclosure in which Muhammadans pray on the Eid day, which was built near the Veerabhadra temple. There was some quarrel about this affair, on account of which Jawhar Ali had no leave to Rahata. Then he came to Shirdi and lived in the masjid with Baba. People were captured by his sweet talk, and he began to call Baba his disciple. Baba did not object and contented to be his Chela. Chela means disciple. Then both Guru and Chela decided to return to Rahata and live there. The Guru never knew his disciple's worth, but the disciple knew the shortcomings of the Guru. Still, he never disrespected him, observing carefully his duties. He even served in the master in various ways. They used to come to Shirdi off and on, but their main stay was in Rahata. The loving devotees of Baba in Shirdi did not like that Baba should stay away from them in Rahata. So they went in the deputation to bring Baba back to Shirdi. When they met Baba near the Idgah and told him the purpose of which they came, Baba said to them that the Fakir was an angry, ill-tempered fellow. He would not leave him, and that they should better go back to Shirdi without him before the Fakir returned. There was some hot discussion, and it was finally decided that both the Guru and Chela should return to Shirdi. And so they returned and lived in Shirdi. But after a few days, the Guru was tested by Devidas, and he was found wanting. 12 years before Baba arrived in Shirdi with the marriage party, this Devidas, aged about 10 or 11 years, came to Shirdi and lived in the Maruti temple. Devidas had fine features and brilliant eyes, and he was dispassion incarnate and a dhyani. Many people, namely Tatya Kote, Kashinath and others, regarded him as their guru. They brought Jawhar Ali in his presence, and in the discussion that followed, Jawhar was worsted and fled from Shirdi. He went and stayed in Bijapur and returned after many years to Shirdi and prostrated himself before Sai Baba. The delusion that he was Guru and Sai Baba his Chela was cleared away, and as he repented, Sai Baba treated him with respect. In this case, Sai Baba showed by his conduct how one should get rid of egoism and do the duties of the disciple to attain the highest end, that is self-realization. This story is told here according to the version given by Mahalshapati, who is a great devotee of Baba. In the next chapter, Ram Navami festival, the masjid, its former condition and later improvement, it will be described by Hemadban in the next chapter. Bow to Shri Sai, peace to be all. Om Shri Sai Ram. Devotees, let's all put our egoism, adamancy, our evil thoughts, everything under our Sadguru's feet, under his lotus feet, and pray to him. We all should get rid of this and be good to others, kind to others, and help others. Om Shri Sai Ram. Let's all recite as Gayatri. Om Shri Shirdi Sai Srinivasaya Vidmahe Sarvadevaya Dhimahi Tanno Sarva Prachodayat. Om Shri Sai Ram. Thank you all, and please keep watching our Mother Media Bhakti channel and post your comments and feedbacks.